Hi, it's Kathy from Maryland. Welcome to Artful Thursday. I'm excited about this project. I've been wanting to do something with like collage or some sort of a paper on a type of a photo picture frame. And oh, let me back up a little bit. I lost the whole um, audio for this video. I don't know what happened. My little Rode mics had a really funny sound in the background, and I think it might have been because I had a zippered sweatshirt on and it was rubbing against it, so I'm doing a voiceover. Long story short. Anyway, I decided to take a piece of 4.5 by 5.5 inch cardstock and make a picture frame out of it for this beautiful little piece of ephemera. It's just ephemera, but it's, the image of an old book cover, along with a couple of these beautiful Tim Holtz wallpaper ephemera from this ephemera pack I purchased. And I thought, well, how can I make a nice little picture frame? And I thought, ooh, it might be fun to weave it. So I tried to figure out a good system to do it. Never done it before. And I thought, well, if I take some double-sided tape, I can put it across the top. I had to think back to my weaving days when I was a teenager with those pot holder looms. Remember those with the loops? So I thought, well, let's get the strips going one way and then we can weave the strips going the other way. So I used a piece of double-sided tape, put it across the top, and my plan was to stabilize all of the strips in one direction. What is that called? Like the warp and the woof or something when you weave? I can't remember the right terms. In retrospect, I wished that I had put the double-sided tape a little fatter pieces all the way down the cardstock because, as you'll see as we get into this a little bit more, I ended up adding them, and it really was effective, but it would have been easier to do it prior to starting it. So yeah, I'm excited about this project. It's just a fun, bright, springy type color palette I'm using. I chose just some scrapbook paper, 5 different patterns, and just kept alternating those. And yeah, I think the whole weaving part of it took maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know. It's a little, time intensive, but it's a lot of fun. And believe me, I'm going to be making more of these. This is really fun. I decided to use little skinny strips because of the size of the picture frame, but I suppose if you're doing something bigger, like a background for a journal or something, you could use, 1/2 inch to 1 inch strips and it would go a lot quicker. So here we go. I pulled those up and I thought, oh yeah, because I was trying to figure out how can I glue this whole woven thing down once the strips are down. So this was just one way I thought to do it, except those gaps that are in between, I think, would have been better if I had had thicker pieces of double-sided tape. So here we go. Just under, over, just a simple little weave, and then I'm going fast, but you can see that I'm gluing each end each strip as I go, and that really helped to keep those in place. I decided, and what made me think of this is that I was going to do something small, like cut the middle of the cardstock out, and then I thought, no, let's do the whole thing, and then we'll cut it out, and then I can use that middle piece for something. So, yeah, just really, really fun. I just love these colors. They're just like cottagey colors. And the pink is one of my pieces from my jelly plate project. And it was just like the perfect color pink. I was happy to find that. So that was the last strip. And yep, I'm just going to go in now and I'm going to pull off all that double-sided tape. And yep, we'll just get that glued down on that card. That all worked well. No problems. And I think when I make another one of these at some point, although you wouldn't have the fringe on the top, I was thinking it would be cute to cut some fringe, like leave some of the fringe on there, like maybe a, quarter inch or something, because it is kind of pretty. But you wouldn't have fringe on the top of the page, of course. So get that all cleaned up. And yep, just happy about it. Seems very stable. So we will get the center cut out now. So I made myself a little template that was 3/4 inches wide, and I just went around the borders and marked it to help me with my cutting. And I used a little razor knife, and it actually cut a lot easier than I thought it would. And then I had to do a little bit of gluing, as you can imagine, on some of those areas. The weave that didn't catch the double-sided tape kind of came up a little. So I just went around a little bit and did a little bit of gluing. I think you could almost just take the art glitter glue with that little tip and go around the whole perimeter, outside and inside, and that would probably catch everything. And I probably should have done that. It would have only taken a minute. So I'm just kind of looking to see what this would look like on the page. Do I want to do the whole background first, or how I want to configure this? And just getting organized. Has anybody been working in their journals, in their art journals? Let me know in the comments if you have. I'm just marking where the pages fold, because I've been getting a little bit lost once you start getting your collage paper down, knowing where the page creases are with the no-sew journal. So basically, I sped this up because it's just collaging with some neutral color papers with some different interesting fonts. I didn't add a whole lot of color here because I just wanted it to be background for this beautiful frame. And to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing on the right page yet. I was just taking baby steps and doing one thing at a time. So I'm going to ink the edges of this beautiful little frame with some vintage photo. And I think that really helped make it stand out and just kind of tie together all those beautiful colors. I think I was just pointing out a couple of areas that needed a little bit of gluing or something. So I decided we'll cut out the flowers, but I'm not going to glue that down to the page just yet. So I initially took a pencil and tried just making a line where I was going to cut that flower. But the pencil mark didn't end up showing up. So, because I wanted to save the other part for the other corner. So I just ended up inking it up a little bit and then gluing it to the page whole, and then, turning it over and cutting it that way. And I think it worked just fine. I just love, if I could remember where I got that little book page cover, it came in an ephemera pack, and I honestly can't remember, but I am in love with that. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty and looks so authentic. I have to rack my brain and remember, because I would like a few more of them. There. So we'll just cut the other part up in that right corner, and I think that's pretty. So I had another big flower, but I didn't want to use the whole thing on the right. I just wanted a few leaves just to give a nod to the flower on the left side. So we'll get those on there. This actually, the frame in this project was, the time-intensive thing. The rest of it was just fun. It's very simple. It's not going to be a long video, I hope. Um, I just want to do something on the right side that's interesting. And I decided to make a little cluster. And just baby steps. I thought, okay, well, I can put a cluster on there. I know I can do that. I had a little inspiration for that with that cute little piece of ephemera. So I thought, well, that might be pretty with some lace on it. I wanted to show you this lace. It's from this Etsy shop called Little Corner Supplies, and I love her lace. It's small, it's just very affordable. It's a wonderful little shop. I'll put it on the description box. But I've been getting her lace for quite a while now. So I just put a little piece of washi tape on there, and I'll figure out where that lace is going to go. Just having fun. That's what this is all about, just having fun. Just thinking about what could I do that's interesting. Always ink, and when you can't figure out what you're going to do, you can always ink. Now, I actually, what I do when that happens, I go back to something on another page. So I decided, okay, let's go back to the other page and get that glued down, because I do know that I want that there. And I kind of made a decision, since there wasn't a big border to glue that I would just glue the book page onto the, no sew journal, and then just glue that on separately. And I think that was a good decision. It worked really well. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that, getting that on there, and as you can see, I'm standing up because I was eyeballing. Oh, and then I decided, once I glued it down, right after I glued it down, that's a little dark. Maybe we should do some splatter. Oh, brother. So I use a combination of gold when I do splatter. Don't ask me why. Golden, iridescent bronze, and Deco Art 24 karat gold. I just always mix the two and get myself a nice little gold that I like. And I just did a little splatter on that to just brighten it up a little bit. If any of you have a favorite gold you like using for gold splatter, please let me know in the comments. The Deco Art gold is just a little too brassy for me, but I like that it's brighter than the golden. So now we'll just get that pretty little cottagey frame glued on. Oh, let's see. I thought, well, let's put a stamp on that cluster. I have this great big box of stamps. It had a hole in it, but I really liked the color. So I thought, okay, I'll put a button on it. Isn't it funny how one thing leads to another? I'm not going to sew this on. I just decided to do a little thread through a couple times. I don't always sew a button through and through when I'm scrapbooking or journaling. And I decided to just go through a couple times and tie a knot. So we'll get that glued on, and just thinking about what else this page needs. It definitely needs something else. And I decided that I wanted to do a stamp on there. This moth stamp is one of my favorites. I will put the Stampers Anonymous just in the description. I wanted to use vintage photo, and then I saw that that alphabet collage strip there was really a very similar color, so I did a little sample with Versafine Clair Portobello, which I just used, and this is the vintage photo, just to see, and see how light that is. It would have been too light, so I'm glad I took the time to do the little sample. So I'm just going to stamp that on there, kind of at a diagonal, and then put a little bit of clear embossing glaze over that. And I'm so happy I did. I love this element on this page. I think it really is nice. So let's get back to the cluster. I feel like it needs a little bit of black. Kind of wished I had gone vertical with that, but I didn't. I turned it and went that way. And now the bottom still needs something. It's funny. And I found a label that I thought looked nice on the top. So I thought, oh, let's get this on there quick and just give it the little element of stapling it, which I did, and then changed my mind and decided I wanted to sew across the top because I still feel like this cluster is too bare, too plain. I don't know. So then I decided to add a little bit of blingy washi tape with a little gold foil on it, and I do think that kicked it up a couple notches and it looks nice. Which led me to adding the washi tape to some other areas. I like adding washi tape to areas where there's a straight line. I just think it's a fun way to break up a page and add a little bit of interest in color. We'll get that glued on there. Kind of wrapping things up here. There is an area there in the middle that needs a little bit tension, but I'm going to go ahead and get this trimmed up first. It's always easier to trim from the back so you're not cutting into your journal. I already feel like I'm going to continue these Artful Thursdays because I am having so much fun with this no-sew journal. Can I just tell you, I really look forward to working in it. I also added a couple little postage postmarks there, just to add a little touch of black here and there. Inking up the pages with a little vintage photo. Love this. I feel like it kind of, brings everything together, all those collage pieces, and these are such like light neutral colors. I think it really helped make the page stand out a little bit. So then I thought, okay, let's do a little bit of a white splatter on here. I still thought that it needed something else. So we'll get a little bit of splatter on there. I made the paint pretty loose because I wanted it to be bigger droplets. In one area I had to clean up a little bit because I was a little too aggressive with the droplets, but I was happy that I was able to, right there on the book front, it was a little bit too much. And I was able to take that off. So then the last thing, maybe almost last thing that I did was added a couple little die cuts. I had recently made these for my other journal I'm working on and had some extras and just pretty blue little wildflower. That's a die cut from Elizabeth Craft Design. It might be from the new romance die set that came out a while back. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description. And there it is again. There's that little, I'm not sure what that bubble is. Did you guys just see that? I'm not editing that out because I want you to see it. Does that happen to anybody else, or have you seen that in anybody's videos? I always edit it out because it's like a downward thumb, and I'm like, why would that do that? Like, out of the blue, I really don't know. I must have said a word. I'm not sure. When I go back to edit this a little bit to finish it up, I'll have to see if I said something. So yeah, I ended up adding a little piece there. And I thought, you know what, let's add a sentiment to this. I'd like to add a white one. There's some nice sentiments on this. And then I found one that I thought was so appropriate. And if I can remember it now, I don't have my journal in front of me. I think it said, start today with a grateful heart. And I loved that. I thought, yeah, that's the way I want to start my days. So, anyway, guys, thank you for being here and, subscribing and commenting and all the things you do. And I appreciate you. And we will see you next week. Love you. Bye.